Hi everyone, welcome to Her Name is Aurora. Today's name is the name of an artist who has been the very first African and Congolese artist to ever perform in the French venues of Olympia and Zenith, as well as performing on the very prestigious venue of Carnegie Hall in New York City. The artist has been an absolute legend, and I do think that her name is not mentioned and heard enough. We're going to dive into her story right now. It is Abéti Masikini. Elizabeth Finant is born on the 9th of November 1954 in the town of Stanleyville in what was at the time the Belgian Congo, which is now the Republic of Democratic Congo. She was born in a relatively wealthy family, and her dad, Jean-Pierre Finant, was a politician, and he remained until the time of independence in 1960. She was also coming from a very big family. In total, the household was made of 8 children plus the 2 parents, so it was quite a big family. And her dad initiated her to piano from the very young age, so she actually had a very natural, gifted talent for music from the very young age. And it is also with the support from her dad that she's going to start singing. And talking about her dad, he will unfortunately die because he's going to be murdered, because he was in open support for the former Prime Minister Patrice Lumumba, and at the time he unfortunately been murdered, and it's going to be a massive trauma for her and her family. And unfortunately they're all going to have to migrate from their hometown to go to the capital city, Kinshasa. So when her family and herself moved to Kinshasa, she kept on doing her studies, and she was in a high school which was at the time called le Lycée Sacré-Cœur, which is now called le Lycée Bosangani. And following her studies, she's going to join the Ministry of Culture of Congo. At the time, she was working with the Minister of Congo, which was Pierre Mouchete, and she's going to take a decision that will surprise absolutely everyone, including her family. She will decide to stop working there and focus exclusively on her passion for music. So she's going to have a very strong will to actually focus on her music. And to give you an example on how much she wanted to focus on her music, she actually lied for a contest because she really wanted to participate. She lied and she said that she was 3 years older than what she actually is, so that she could participate. And that contest has been organized by an artist which is called Gérard Mediata, and she actually did very well because she ended up being 3rd on that contest. But it's just an example to show you that even if she was quite young, she had a very, very strong will to succeed. So at the same period of time, she's going to create her very first band with her little brother called Jean. And they're going to start to perform in little club, little bars. And at the time, she wasn't called Abéti Masikini, she was still called Betty Finant. Her name will change for political reason.
To give you some more context around the reason why she had to change her name, the president and dictator at the time, Mobutu, decided to take several laws in place in the country to erase any social or historical element that would remind the nation of Europe and its domination towards the country. Because Elizabeth Finant's dad was half Congolese and half Belgian, his last name was actually Belgian, so she had to change her name and take her mum's last name, Masikini. She then decided to be called Abéti Masikini.
But that change will occur exactly at the same time of an encounter that will have a tremendous impact on her career. So this shift in her music career will happen because a very famous artist from Togo will come to Zaire with her producer, which is called Gérard Acquesson, and he will notice how talented Abéti is.
J'ai dit, mademoiselle, essayez de chanter avec ton petit frère et on va voir. Et quand elle a commencé à chanter, j'ai trouvé ça tellement formidable.
And he's going to let her know that she has lots of talent, and she will ask him if she can go on a tour with them, but because they already had lots of things planned, he could not make it happen. But he will say, I'm going to come back in a couple of months to produce you as an artist, and he will actually succeed in that promise. He will come back and they're going to start going on a tour, not in Congo, but in the western part of Africa. She's going to be performing in Ivory Coast, in Burkina Faso, in Nigeria, in Ghana, and the public will absolutely love her. So when she will come back from that success in West Africa, she will come back in her country, but the welcome that she will receive will be completely different from the one in West Africa. And there was only 12 guests to support her, but she didn't give up and she kept working and working, and she managed to get her first album out the following year, which was in 1973. But her music was very much around blues music, R&B music, folk music, which was very different from what the Congolese public was accustomed to. So the image that she had in the eyes of the public was very much of a foreign music, a music that people really didn't connect with. And to tell you another example of how the public wouldn't want to connect with her, she was actually singing in Swahili, which was her mother tongue. And for people at the time in Zaire, they actually thought, well, if she sings music in that language, it's not really for us, because people mainly were listening to rumba music, which was in Lingala. So for them, it was something very different, which they really didn't want to connect with. So the image that she had in the eyes of the public was very much of a foreign music, a music that people really didn't connect with. And to tell you another example of how the public wouldn't want to connect with her, she was actually singing in Swahili, which was her mother tongue. And for people at the time in Zaire, they actually thought, well, if she sings music in that language, it's not really for us, because people mainly were listening to rumba music, which was in Lingala. So for them, it was something very different, which they really didn't want to connect with. But despite of all that criticism, she will not give up and she will keep working really hard. And thanks to lots of TV shows that she will perform on, she's going to have a real success in West Africa. But the success was not only hers, it was also the success of her band, Les Redoutables, and her dancers, Les Tigresses, because they managed to create something absolutely exceptional in terms of music scene and shows, which made any of her performance something absolutely exceptional for the public. And to give you an example on how successful she was in West Africa, she performed the show called Soleil de Dakar, which means Sun of Dakar, and she performed that show in front of the former president at the time, Léopold Sédar Senghor. And all the money gathered from that show will be given for the population suffering from the drought at the time. But in 1973, it will not be the only show that she'll be doing. She's going to be doing a show which is now, in my personal opinion, a historic moment. She's going to be doing a show in the French venue, Olympia. And the public present in the audience wasn't an African public. It wasn't a Congolese public, it was a white public.
Quand on vient pour la première fois à Paris, il est de bon ton de rendre visite à cette digne vieille dame qu'est la Tour Eiffel. Abéti n'a pas failli à la tradition et une photo immortalisera cette rencontre. Bien qu'elle entende demeurer fidèle à la tenue traditionnelle des femmes africaines, le bagne, Abéti n'en a pas moins tenu à assister à un défilé de la collection été-automne 73 d'un des plus grands couturiers parisiens. Accueilli par des applaudissements, Abéti quittera la scène de l'Olympia après plusieurs rappels sous les acclamations. Une nouvelle vedette internationale est née ce soir-là à Paris.
They were very keen on liking the type of music that she was doing.
On voit très rarement ce genre de voix. Il y avait quoi, 3-4 artistes africaines qui étaient à la hauteur de ça, c'est tout. Et elle se détachait parce qu'elle avait un timbre de voix très particulier.
And thanks to the great success of her performance at Olympia, she's going to be signing her contract with Pierre Cardin. And the following year, in 1974, she's going to perform in a venue, and it's going to be a higher level. It's going to be at the Carnegie Hall in New York City, and it's going to be an absolute event for her, which will put her career on a higher level. And on the same year, but further down the line, in October, she's going to be performing during an event that I've mentioned in the video about the life and the story of Samangwana. And that event was the fight between George Foreman and Muhammad Ali. And lots of artists will be performing during that show, including Franco, Miriam Makeba, as well as James Brown, Bill Withers, Celia Cruz as well from Cuba, and she will be performing during that event. year, in 1975, she's going to release her second album that she's going to call Voice of Zaire, and I really like the fact that she called that album that way because it meant that despite of all the criticism that she could have in her own country, she never denied how much she was an artist from Congo and that she was proud of it. And thanks to the great success of her second album, she's going to be doing lots of her performance, including performance in France. And when she's going to be in Paris, she's going to be recording her third album that will come out the following year. But when she was doing lots of performance, what's going to happen is that she's going to have a new nickname, which was the Tigress with Golden Fingers. And the reason being that she was always carrying lots of rings on her fingers, which was the reason why people nicknamed her the Tiger with the Golden Fingers. Talking about her band, they're not going to be only following her when they're going to be on tour throughout the world, they're also going to be supporting and recording albums with very famous and prestigious artists such as Dr. Nico, which is a very famous guitar player from Congo.
Le dieu de la guitare congolaise, Dr. Nico.
Also, Roger Chao and Pamelo Nunca. So not only does she not manage to reach the heart of everyone in her country, but she's going to start having a revival, which is also a very important artist from Congo. Her name is Bongo Love, and that artist was at the time booming, and there's going to be a little bit of a revival between the two artists because obviously she was having lots of success in Congo, and at the time Abéti was struggling much more. But even if there was this little revival, her manager and husband will ask her to actually perform with Bongo Love, which she's going to be doing. The success will be good, but she's still going to have to work very hard to reach the heart of the Congolese public. So she's going to have a very impressive international career, but it's not going to be the exact reflection of her career in her own country. So we're just going to go back and dive into all the details around how she managed to touch the heart of people from Congo, because if Abéti Masikini is now an absolute legend, it is obviously because she managed to touch the heart of her people. So to reach the heart of the Congolese public, she's going to release a fourth album, but it's not going to work very well. But there's going to be a public that's going to be very keen on liking the type of music that she does, and this public is children. They're very much going to like her music, and they're going to go and see her performing very often at the Cinema Palladium. But despite of having that great success, the adults are not going to be very keen on liking her music. Obviously, it wasn't everyone who wasn't keen on liking her music. There was sort of an alternative public that really appreciated the type of music that she was doing, and they actually created a fan club which was called Les Amis d'Abéti, which means the friend of Abéti. And thanks to the great success of the album, she's going to be doing a concert on the French venue, the very prestigious venue of the Zenith. And what's going to happen is that she's not going to be alone. She's going to be doing it with very talented and international artists such as Bertrand Lavillier and Manu Dibango. And for each of her shows, she's going to be working very closely with a dancer.
Moi j'aimais beaucoup surtout les répétitions.
Who's going to help her and the tigress, her dancers, to do something that's going to be very different in terms of dance, and it's going to be something very popular in terms of shows. the great legend of Congolese music, Abéti Masikini.
Mais Abéti, elle était en avance à cette époque-là. Je veux dire, c'est là qu'il y a eu beaucoup d'incompréhension avec d'autres artistes parce que ils avaient du mal à comprendre qu'une femme, déjà, mettait des sons.
So to make sure that the success that she's having in her homeland is not just a one shot and that it's going to be something that's going to remain all the time, she's going to perform with a legendary band from Congo, and I've mentioned that band in the video about Franco because he's one of the co-founders of that band. It is le tout-puissant OK Jazz.
Oh Mario, Luka ta mwasi yo moko bala, Mario mosalo be kolinga ba mama mobokoli, basuka yo te, ah.
Lelo makambo lobi makambo na lembi eh.
So following that success with Le Tout-Puissant OK Jazz, she's going to release an album in 1981, which is going to be to celebrate the 10th anniversary of her career. And following the album, she's mainly going to focus on a music genre that's mainly going to be Congolese rumba. So she's going to be doing very popular songs such as Chéri Bade. Some people think that it is a love song, but Bade is the name of her son. So it is not a love song, it is a song for her son. And in 1986, she's going to release a new album, and one of the songs in her album is called Je suis fâchée, which is the cover that I've done last week. And that song will become an absolute success, and it's going to help new generation to discover the talented artist that Abéti Masikini is.
This new success occurs in the 80s at the same time when the French West Indies group Cassave and the music genre souk boom all over the world.
Makombo yene wo, makombo na me wo, denato melo melo, ofe melo melo, denato melo melo,
and rather it was through her performance live or through the lyrics of her songs. She's always been someone extremely committed, including for women, which is leading us to the next part.
Nazali komituna, soki nani akela biso, soki penzambe, soki peza bulu biso basi.
So whether she was singing in French, in Lingala or in Swahili, whenever she was singing, she was always having very committed words and committed lyrics, including in the song Biso Basi.
Nazali komituna, soki nani akela biso, soki penzambe, soki peza bulu biso basi.
She was actually talking about how difficult the life was for women at the time because there was lots of machismo and women were suffering from that type of situation. So throughout her career, she's going to have very committed word, including a very feminist approach of her music.
Et Abéti se battait tous les jours, mais tous les jours, de la première heure où elle posait 100 pieds sur le tapis de sa chambre, jusqu'à le moment où elle se couchait, elle devait se battre. Elle devait se battre pourquoi? Parce qu'elle devait prouver qu'en tant que femme, elle était une bonne chanteuse, elle pouvait faire ce que les hommes faisaient.
But she was also being an influence for women with the type of hairstyle that she was doing, the makeup that she would put on.
Elle était belle, en dehors d'être une très très grande chanteuse, donc il fallait se préparer, ses habits, ses maquillages et autres. Elle avait son entourage, sa famille, et était très zen souvent.
And women were really taking her as an example, and to give you an idea of this, in West Africa, they named a very specific type of skirt out of her. They was calling her the Abéti Masikini skirt just because of the way she was dressed up, and they also called an African specific outfit after her as well, and one of the outfit was called after her song Scandale de Jaloux. So Abéti became a real symbol of emancipation for African and Congolese women, not only because she was the very first one to have an international success.
Est-ce qu'il est difficile pour une femme en Afrique de faire une carrière dans le monde de la chanson?
Oui, très difficile, parce qu'en Afrique, on ne considère pas ce métier, on ne prend pas ça au sérieux. Et puis le public africain ne connaît pas encore ce que c'est le récital. Alors c'est très difficile de percer. Il faut voyager, il faut sortir pour se faire imposer.
Est-ce que vous pensez qu'il est plus difficile pour une femme que pour un homme de faire une carrière?
C'est très difficile pour nous les femmes surtout.
Une fille qui chante, ça faisait très très mauvais.
Ça fait mauvais genre.
Ça fait mauvais genre. Qu'est-ce que c'est? Au lieu de se marier, ça va chanter.
But also because she was in a very masculine environment, but she managed to become an absolute legend in African music.
Soukous parfumé.
She's going to make her dream coming true, and she's going to be performing in China with an artist who claimed herself as being the Chinese Abéti Masikini, and they're going to be doing over 17 concerts together all over China. Her very last performance will be in New Year Eve in 1993, but unfortunately on the 29th of September 1994, she's going to pass away. Even if Abéti Masikini passed away almost 30 years ago, she really is an absolute legend of African music, and her legacy is something absolutely tremendous. Some people actually call her the music school because so many artists that are nowadays stars of African music, such as Mbilia Bel or Luku Kansa, actually worked with her and learned music thanks to her, and I'm pleased to have shared the music and the name of an artist who managed to build up her career from scratch, where it was at the time an almost exclusively masculine landscape.
Elle ne se contentait pas de reproduire la musique de chez elle en l'état. Elle était ouverte déjà sur la scène mondiale.
And she really inspires me, and I really hope that she also inspired you. So I really encourage you to go and have a look right here at her YouTube channel, and I'll see you all next week. Thank you.
Qu'est-ce que tu veux que les gens retiennent d'Abéti?
Qu'on retienne d'elle que c'est fut une militante quelque part. C'est une dame, une diva qui a porté le RDC aujourd'hui, le Zaïre, en dehors à l'international, mais c'est aussi une femme de cœur, une maman, c'est aussi une amie. S'il n'y avait pas que les musiciens, même les fans et tout, est-ce que j'aimerais qu'on ne l'oublie pas, surtout pas, qu'on voit ce qu'elle a fait.
Oh